Hi guys, this is Giridhar and welcome to another review of this new mobile, the Xiaomi Redmi Note. So I've got this mobile with me for about 2-3 days, and let me tell you my opinion and also talk about in detail about this mobile. So this is a new phablet from Xiaomi. Actually, it's not really new. It's been in the market for some time, and it's a new launch in India at least. And this is a 3G version, which means it is running on 8-core MediaTek processor, and the 4G version will come in later this December, and that will be running on a Snapdragon processor. So this Redmi Note is powered by an octa-core MediaTek processor, and it's got 1 GB of RAM, and it's got a dedicated GPU, which is the Mali 450. And here the device is with me in my hand. It's a 5.5-inch display. It's an IPS panel, and it's protected by a Corning Gorilla Glass 3. And at the back you have the 13 megapixel camera with a flash, and on the front also you have a 5 megapixel shooter, and on top of the display you have the earpiece and a proximity sensor and ambient light sensor. At the bottom you have the off-screen navigation keys. The navigation keys are backlit, which means that in a dark room you'll be able to see the keys clearly. And also on the left side you have nothing, and the right side you have the volume rocker and the power button. At the bottom you have the USB port and a mic, and at the top you have the 3.5mm audio jack and a noise cancelling mic. So, and the back panel is removable. So once you remove the back panel, you would be able to see a 3200 mAh lithium ion polymer battery, and also two slots for SIM card. This slot 1 is a 3G enabled SIM card, and the slot 2 doesn't accept 3G. It connects with only 2G internet connections. And there is also an SD card slot, which can expand the memory up to 32G. And once you remove the battery, you will be able to see more details about the product, like the brand, which is the MI, and product name is Redmi. And Redmi Note, in fact, and it's made in China. And they also have the SAR values there. So the SAR is 1.6 watt per kg, and that's kind of slightly high, but it's still under the acceptable levels. And you also have the speaker grills at the bottom, and the back panel is very flimsy, and it's got a glossy finish. But when you actually put the black panel on the device, it's very firm. It fits in very neatly, and there is no creaking noise or any noise or whatsoever. The fitting is perfect. So, and also the finishing is really good. And though it's a 5.5-inch phablet, it's quite a large device. It still fits your hand, at least my hand. So I have a large hand maybe, and I can easily operate the mobile with my single hand. Design-wise, the device looks really solid, and it's got a premium finish. But it's not the top-end mobile. So we have seen mobiles like HTC One M8 with a metal aluminum finish, but this one's got complete plastic finish, and though it's plastic, it doesn't feel cheap. The display is, as I said, is a 5.5-inch IPS panel, and it's quite responsive. And in fact, it's kind of the sensitivity is very high. The viewing angles is also really good. You can see that I can still see the text and the images at all angles possible, and sunlight visibility it's not the top of the line we have seen this year, but I would say it still passes the test. This device is powered by an octa-core processor, which is MediaTek made. It's clocked at 1.668. That's 1.7 gigahertz, and it's a true octa-core device. So it means that all the 4 cores are always active, and also you have 2 GB of RAM in it. So it's good enough to run any of your high demanding applications. And it's also got a dedicated 450 Mali graphic processing unit, and that's good enough to run your high-end games like the Asphalt or any racing game or any 3D game. And also the memory is like it's got an internal memory of 8 GB, which is expandable up to 32 GB by micro SD card slot. I ran a few performance tests, and it's got some decent score. They are not on top of the lines, but still it's fairly acceptable. It just falls just below the Xiaomi Mi 3, and it's in the Antutu the benchmark. It scores around 32 or 31,000, and also in the quadrant test it scores less than 16,000, and it scored some decent score on the Linpack test as well. And I also ran some temperature tests, and it doesn't heat up beyond 31 degrees Celsius. Graphic rendering was nearly perfect, and the edges were really smooth, and there was rarely a frame drop or frame freeze, or there was no loss of any frames there. So that's a neat performing device there, and it doesn't heat up as well, unlike the previous version of the Redmi device, which was the Redmi 1S, which had a lot of complaints about heating. This device doesn't heat up in all my tests. I even ran some rigorous tests, like keeping the camera on for about an hour, and still it didn't heat up beyond 35 degrees Celsius. So the camera is a 13 megapixel shooter, and it's assisted by a single LED flash. UI is nothing new, which we have already seen the same UI in the Xiaomi devices. So this device performs really good when there is a lot of light there. So if you are on outdoors, if there is sunshine, if there is enough light in the room, you would have no problems or whatsoever clicking pictures with this mobile. But the real problem comes when you're indoors, or when you have a low light situation. This camera doesn't perform at all. There are a lot of grains, and it doesn't pick up the details, and it's so much noise in the images. So let me open up an image which I shot last night with my friend, and you can see that there are a lot of grains here. The images, though the images got some details in it, so it's not really a sharp shooter there. Okay. And regarding the color reproduction, I would say the color reproduction is pretty decent. So it doesn't do an oversaturation like the Mi 3, and it also doesn't fade out the colors like the Redmi. It just performs rightly. So the 13 megapixel shooter, though it gives some lot of noise in the edge, the sharpening is not really perfect in this device. The color reproduction as such is fairly commendable, and the front megapixel shooter is not a great camera here, though we have a 5 megapixel wide angle lens. So it again performs well in the daylight situation and not in the low light situation. The reason being that both the camera are not backside illuminated sensors, so they do suffer from low light. They do suffer in low light condition. Video again performed really good on daylight situation, and it suffered really bad under low light situation. So if you have to nitpick on this device, you can also tell that this device doesn't run the latest Android version. The Android version which this device runs in is Android 4.2. About the phone, and you can see that it's running on Android 4.2.2, which is the older version of the Jelly Bean, and though it runs on the latest MIUI, which is the MIUI version 5, you would see that this device doesn't have the updated version of the Android, at least not even the 4.3. But the slight good news is, like, you would get an Android 4.3 in the 4G version, which is powered by a Snapdragon processor, and this device might not even be upgraded to 4.4. So maybe the 4G version will get an upgrade with the 4.4, but the 3G version will not get an upgrade to the 4.4, or even forget Lollipop. Even 4.4, this device might not get. But I'm not really complaining on the software version here, because you see that this device is running on an MIUI. MIUI has got its own design languages, and it's got its own UI, and if you have to worry about the software in this device, you have to worry about MIUI. So you would get MIUI updates. You will get whenever there's a software fix or there is a bug fix or the feature addition, which is part of the MIUI version 5, you would get it. But I'm not sure about the Android. You need not actually worry about the Android version in it, because this is a nice device with a nice UI, and forget about Android, just enjoy MIUI ROM. So it's got a loads of features in it. If you want to check out the features, you can check out my previous videos where I have detailed about all the nice features of the MIUI there, and I'm a big fan of MIUI. This device is powered by a 3200 mAh lithium polymer battery, and it lasts more than 24 hours on a full charge. But the problem is this device takes really long time to charge. So let me go there and pull up the battery statistics. So you can see that it's not charging, and it's been like 12 minutes since I plugged out the device from the charger. And I really find it a little bit irritating to see that this device takes really longer than 3 hours to charge from 0 to 100%, but it doesn't discharge that fast. It takes almost 24 hours to discharge completely, and I'm on 3G network, and I have put both my SIMs on it, and I use fairly a lot of gaming, and I used to click some pictures, and still that's what I would call my normal usage. And under my normal usage, this device lasts for more than a day. So there is nothing to complain about the battery performance of this particular device. Overall, this is a great device, great buy, and it's priced at 8,999. You can't get a cheaper phablet. It's got a good performance, and the pricing is also good. The design is neat, and it's minimalistic design. It's not very fancy, but it's minimalistic. And though it's kind of glossy in the back, it's not slippery. It sticks to my hand. Well, no matter what I do, it sticks to my hand. I'm not. Maybe there's a little bit of moisture in my hand. I'm not sure what it really does there. It doesn't fall off my hand that easily, and I have also dropped this device a couple of times, and there is no scratch whatsoever on any of the edges. So it's just a sturdily built device, and the display is also really good. Though the display, the front is not a big fingerprint magnet, the back of the device is a huge fingerprint magnet. You'll have to be constantly cleaning this device if you have to maintain a shiny mobile. And that being said, this is a very nice buy. Go ahead and buy it for 8,999. If you haven't registered before end of day today, and you might get a chance to buy this device tomorrow if the stocks don't run out. And if you don't manage to get the 3G version of the Redmi Note, don't worry, you would always get the 4G version of the Redmi Note that is coming up end of December. That will be sold at rupees 9,999, and it will be sold not only in Flipkart, it will also be available in Airtel stores. So that's it from my end. Thanks for watching the video. This is Giridhar signing off.